Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to the finale, the season 7 finale of the Social Work Rants Podcast. I'm your host, Bash Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in wherever you are listening or watching this podcast. Thank you for the love, support. Gracias a todos por su apoyo. It's been one heck of a season 7. Incredible 3 years done. It's crazy. That's been 3 years of doing the podcast. Um, so celebrating the success of the podcast being a top 10 podcast in all of social work. That that goes out to you, the listeners. That goes out to you, the viewers who subscribe to the podcast, who like share episodes. That's you. That's you, the listeners. That's you, the viewers. And then I thank you for your love, support. Um, you can follow the podcast on Instagram at the Social Work Rants Podcast. That is all one word. And Facebook, aka Meta. Type in the Social Work Rants Podcast. Hit that like button. Of course, hit the red subscribe button on the YouTube. Leave comments, leave reviews, share episodes. My audio listeners, rate the podcast, download it, download episodes. I've interviewed some of your favorite IG social workers, mental health professionals during these last 3 years. Um, season 7 took a turn to do a little bit more entrepreneurship discussions, interviewed social work entrepreneurs, um, using their social work skills to do something else that's not necessarily day in, day out clinical work in this space. Um, season this year of 2023 got my first paid sponsorship. Shout out to Herd for giving me that opportunity, and shout out to Michael for making it happen. Um, yeah, so I'm looking for paid sponsorships going into 2024. So if you are a social worker who has a business or looking to, obviously, gotta be a paid sponsorship. If your numbers with your business that you could put up some money to, and I'll do the read, and this episode is sponsored by such and such, and right off the bat of the episodes, obviously, like I said, it's on YouTube, so you get the YouTube exposure, you'll get the audio exposure over 60 countries. Um, yeah, we're talking about islands, we're talking like Turk and Caicos, so PR, DR, um, Russia, China, obviously US, Canada, um, England. You know, the podcast is listened to so many different countries and islands throughout the world. So, um, you want that exposure? Let's talk. Let's talk business. So, um, I think one of the highlights was having a paid sponsorship this year. Um, Several highlights this year in terms of business. I changed my business model for my business, Bass City Entertainment, um, doing the DBA, doing business as Bass Moreno Consulting, and now focusing on providing financial education for Gen X people of color, particularly those who are in the sandwich generation. I'm honestly, as of this recording and debating, I may have to include older millennials in that discussion because there's quite a few millennials who are have older parents to take care of and might have their first child and have to take care of their own stuff while taking care of a possible young baby and older parent. So, um, hired a business coach this year. So that's another highlight. And so I'll talk to my business coach about that. um, it's, just changing my business model from doing self care, focusing on the self care of social workers, using poetry and Zumba. I hurt my foot. Um, well, I've been in pain with my feet for years, but um, got nerve issues in my left foot to the point that doctor said no Zumba for you. Um, so basically, regarding all that, changing my business model for my business has been a long journey, but definitely well worth the investment. And looking forward to 2024 being a big year for my business. So you'll hear more about that. Um, if you are a Gen X person of color and are interested in doing free financial consultations, by all means, reach out to me, Bass City Entertainment LLC at gmail.com, and we'll get you on the schedule because I'm looking for clients. So, um, which leads to my book is still out, my poetry book, Triumph Through Pain: How to Maximize Your Full Potential in Hard Times. Been promoting it this year um, at local events. I did a book fair in Philly this year. Um, Went to Dallas this year and sold it while doing a speaking engagement in Dallas. Shout out to Dr. Letty and the Connecta Foundation for the opportunity, along with Erica Sandoval for making all that happen. Um, Not in my wildest dreams that I think about going to Texas with everything that's been happening politically with the governor. But opportunity came too good to be true not to go, and I had a blast in meeting people who've been on the podcast in person for the first time and doing a speaking engagement, talking about my chapter in Latinx and Social Volume 2 um, that I'm also promoting still. And it's, doing incredible. Um, that, the book is in certain grad schools. It's, we got celebrities reading our book. Um, the book is kind of taken off on its own, and it won an international book award this year. So I'm an award-winning author, which is crazy to say. On top of Latinx Social Volume 2 being an Amazon #1 bestseller 2 days after it came out, but to win an international, or at least being recognized for winning an international um, Hispanic book award is something special. So that happened this year. Um, as I went to Philly, went to Dallas, met incredible social workers in person at a social work event in Maryland. Um, you know, some of those social workers I got to interview this year as well. Um, so shout out to all my Maryland social workers. We neighbors. Um, I'm a quick drive away. Something pops up. Um, I don't mind making a drive. Um, it's too many to name, but so many. In Maryland, this past March, um, the book, doing more speaking engagements. I did a speaking engagement for United Federation of Teachers, probably like the biggest, um, one of the biggest unions in the country. if not the biggest teacher union in the U.S. So that happened this year. That goes to a shout out to Erica Sandoval for making that happen. Um, did my first NASW chapter presentation this year. Shout out to the NASW chapter of Delaware chapter, for making that happen. And that took, building that relationship from a year ago when I interviewed the now former executive director of the NASW Delaware chapter, um, and just built that relationship and sent in a proposal, and it got accepted, and made it happen, and had a good experience with that. Um, yeah, and also another speaking engagement was through the Latinx and Social Work book, talking about my chapter, an event that happened in May, at the very beginning of May, and also shout out to my business coach Eva Ford for doing the first ever Social Work Wealth Conference, and was a part of um, two different panels, one related to podcasting, and another one to shout out to Tiffany and to Matt, um, doing the panel unconventional ways to build wealth, and had a great conversation. That reminds me, I gotta check out these videos that's available. I have yet to see all the videos of all the talks. It was such a wealth of information. A lot of your favorite IG social workers were a part of the conference. Um, there, as far as I know, there will be a 2024 Social Work Wealth Conference. I'll be, if it happens, I'll definitely promote it on the podcast. Um, and hope to have another opportunity to present, moderate, whatever that's needed to be done to be part of that. Um, it was definitely a great time, and I will be interviewing different social workers who were part of the Social Work Wealth Conference in the very near future, and just talking about that experience. So be on the lookout for that. That's already in the works for season 8. Um, yeah, so that was definitely a lot of fun. And of course, most recently, going back to Latinx and social work, um, Latinx, like Latinx in social work, there will be a volume 3, and had the pleasure of meeting some of the authors of volume 3, some who I've been following on social media for a while, and to finally meet them in person, and was great. Going to New York and going back home, and just networking and seeing people from the volume 1, and people from volume 2, and kind of connecting, talking, chatting was a great way to enjoy the holiday season, especially after my bout of COVID in November, to be ready to go. I'm you have so much clarity after having COVID. Is like it's I got so much energy. Um, I lost almost 30 pounds in like 2 months. Just nutrition, cut a lot of uh, sugar off my diet, changing name brands for different stuff I was eating, and just meal prepping, and the weight is literally like dropping like crazy. So, um, and I was like, I need to hit the gym, like, cause I hit this gym while still on this meal prep and what I'm doing. Like, I'm gonna look like how I used to look like 2016, to just be kind of cut, but like not super skinny, but like just cut, because I'm always been stocky, and just looking kind of brolic. Be I'm like ready to get back how I looked like 2016. Uh, I mean, I'm already snatched, so I'm happily married. But I'm saying like to just kind of get back to how I used to look, and enough of this COVID weight, COVID slash marriage weight. I need to get back to how I used to look. But I'm happy with the progress I'm made so far, and for my health, and had a little health scare with being pre-diabetic, just over like literally like point 0.1, point 0.2 over. Um, so I'm considered technically pre-diabetic, but I'm trying to get out of that and get get back into shape. So I guess it took getting some bad news to kind of like do what you need to do to get back health wise and get into shape. Um, so yeah, that was like personal highlights for me. Um, and again, this may come across like just kind of crazy, but I, Thanksgiving really had to like took a deep dive into myself and really celebrate all these wins, not only this year, but just the last like 6, 7 years. So a lot that's happening. If you read my chapter in volume and it's social volume 2 and all some of the stuff I shared to the world of what I went through, um, and just celebrating me. Like I've been through a lot and I'm still here. I got a top 10 podcast. I got like 2 books out. I got a business. I'm like caring for 2 kids and like married, just going on 2 years, and still got my pops taken care of, and he got more lives than a cat, and like working full time, and I'm doing all these different things, and like just killing it and kicking ass, and I need to celebrate that. I need to celebrate all of that, and it took a while, and I felt good about myself, and I think I deserve to feel that way. So, um, which goes to like I hope everybody had a good Christmas, had uh, Kwanzaa celebration, Boxing Day, Happy New Year. I hope everybody has an incredible 2024. Um, there's not a date yet of the season 8 premiere. It will be on the IG page. It will be on the Facebook page. Um, I am still on Twitter X. Um, we'll see how Twitter X goes. What Elon does with with X. Um, so I'm definitely will be promoting the IG page and definitely promoting the Facebook page, and of course the YouTube. So you can catch me on those platforms. But yet we're trying to build up these subscribers on the YouTube. Trying to get the definitely want to get to like between 300 and 350. Um, and slowly but surely get 1,000 likes on the Facebook page. I'm approaching that. So yeah, there's a lot of dope stuff that's happening with me, the business, me personally. Um, and just the future is bright, man. The future is really bright. But still taking one day at a time. Been going to church consistently, and God is like talking to me. I'm like, you talking to me? I'm gonna figure out. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna figure out what you're trying to tell me. So got baptized again. Got baptized as a kid. As I was raised Roman Catholic in a Roman Catholic church, but baptized in a non-denominational Christian church, if that makes sense. Um, you know, my church, you don't have to believe in God and still go to the church. They'll accept you with open arms and just like I got this epiphany after having COVID. It's like I want to get baptized, so I got baptized. Um, so that's another win. And I know I'm sounding rambling, but this is a celebrating celebrating all the wins. And all that to say is that celebrate your wins, however small it is. If it's big, celebrate it. Celebrate you. You are kicking. I'm proud of you. You, the social worker, I am proud of you. We don't hear that enough in the profession. I'm proud of you, proud of the work that you're doing in the field. A lot of you are doing amazing work in the field. Keep up the great work. There's a lot of so many dope social workers that I see on Instagram. I see on Twitter. Well, I did see on Twitter X. I see on LinkedIn. Um, and just uh, I see other people who I follow, and it just like inspire me to like, oh snap, that's dope, or I never thought of this, and always thinking of ideas and like just want to like big you up. This is why I have people on the podcast. Like, what do you do? Let people know what you're doing, like, and just kind of build the profession. Because so many good people doing such dope work, dope, incredible work in this field that we need to celebrate ourselves, and we need to, because the grad schools are not necessarily doing that from what I've seen just online, which is why I want to interview um, current MSW students to see what the heck is happening in these grad schools. Um, and yeah, so that that's the plan as well. So the future's bright with the podcast. The future's bright with just me and in general. Just take one day at a time, but we got to celebrate these wins. And there's been a lot of wins too. I am going to end on I guess, kind of negative, however you want to call it. Um, I did promise my prediction for 2024, and I hope I'm 100% wrong on this prediction, but I'm going to say it anyway because what's a little controversy. Um, so I predict Agent Orange with his he's going to be convicted of some of his charges. He's going to be convicted of something because he got so much going on. However, despite being convicted, I believe he will still win the nomination, Republican nomination, and will still win the presidency. So I got a bad feeling that we are going to live in a real life episode of 24. If you never saw 24, it was a show in the 2000s, 2010s around there, um, with the main character Jack Bauer saving the world, or trying to save the world, uh, saving the president and all this stuff. A fascinating show, one of the best shows I've ever seen on TV. Probably one of the best shows in the history of American television. So I got a bad feeling we're gonna live in a real life episode of 24, having Agent Orange winning the nomination, Republican nomination, and becoming, while convicted, still being president. So I don't know how that's gonna work. That's never obviously never been done before. Um, but there's so much crazy stuff happening in the world that nothing really surprises me anymore. Um, so that's my prediction. Again, I hope I'm wrong. Super hope I'm wrong. But I did promise you a prediction, a crazy prediction, and I've talked to other people, a few people who have the same opinion as I do. So I'm not completely bonkers. I promise I haven't drank any beer, wine, or anything. I'm not under the influence. I didn't smoke anything. This is me giving my prediction, a crazy one, but my prediction for 2024. And again, I hope I'm wrong. Um, and going back to, um, so yeah, that's my prediction. Uh, I did want to touch on something that I didn't do last week was to a call of action for the social workers is to learn to diversify your income, meaning your 9 to 5 um, can be your only source of income. Um, I know it's hard, but those social workers, we got to have like 2, 3 jobs. And these social work jobs, we got to have side hustles. We got to learn to invest in real estate, invest in the stock market. We got to do those things. Um, learn what the hell crypto is. All these different things that we need to figure out how to make more money, use our talents to make money, and learn different skill sets to just be part of this society. So we have to do that. Um, so at least I wanted to end there after my prediction. Um, and yeah, let me know what you think regarding the prediction. It's okay. It's okay not to agree to disagree, but keep it pushing. So um, that's my motto, and I know within these last 3, 4, 5 years, people always want to fight, even though just giving an opinion. But and again, I hope I'm wrong with my prediction. I really hope I'm wrong. But you kind of just already kind of like see that happen. He's already gonna win the nomination, unless these states do the 14th Amendment and have him off the ballot. But still, like you can write in a presidential candidate, or at least you used to. Who knows? Who knows? Uh, on that note, happy New Year, happy 2024. Thank you for your love and support. Um, through this wild ride. And see you for year 4. 4 years. January 2024 marks 4 years of the podcast. Absolutely crazy. It's wild. 4 years of doing this podcast. I started doing the podcast holding the phone over my mouth and just talking talking smack. Didn't even know what the hell I was talking about. I had no idea what to talk about. Just hit record and sent it to the world and to be where I'm at right now and just touching the surface now. And it's been therapeutic doing this podcast, shed a lot of tears, um, falling asleep, editing videos, uploading videos, half asleep. It's been a wild ride. 3 years. Shout out to all the guests that's been on the podcast. Um, so many people been on and that took the time out, um, whether it be East Coast time, Central time, West Coast time, in England and Canada, um, Australia, um, just throughout the world, and interviewing people throughout the world, which is crazy. Just a wild ride, and yeah, it's definitely shed tears on the podcast, and cried and being choked up and laughed and talked trash and talked wrestling. Just it's been a fun, wild three 3 years, and thank you, the viewers. Thank you, the listeners, for just rocking and give you that education, interviewing entrepreneurs, just providing info, just giving my perspective in the field and calling out stuff that needs to be called out. Um, because there's a lot happening in the field of social work on top of what's happening in the world. So thank you. In God's will, see you in January. En enero los vemos si Dios quiere. 2024, year 4 of the podcast. We we in the 160s of total episodes, over 160 episodes. That's the drive to 200 starts in January. Let's get it. Stay safe, y'all. Happy New Year.